Hello, and welcome back to our Academy podcast series. In our second episode, we are going to bring you closer to the world of technical and production. In recognition of International Women's Day, we are joined by a female manufacturing graduate and female engineer. It is no secret that factories are male dominated, but this does not mean that women aren't capable of achieving great things in a practical environment. We are seeing more and more women with a passion for the industry come through our programs and make a real difference. We hope that the podcast today can encourage you to explore your options and, most importantly, follow your interests without feeling that as a woman you'll be undervalued amongst your co workers. So, let's introduce our guest and, of course, your favourite Nestlé product.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm on the manufacturing graduate scheme. I joined in September 2019, and I have to say my favourite Nestle product is probably Toffee Crisp. I absolutely love it.
Oh, I haven't had a toffee crisp in ages.
So many different layers. So you've got the caramel, and then like I don't know, it's Crispies and the chocolate. I absolutely love it.
My name is Jess. I am a fourth year engineering apprentice at Yorkside, and my apprenticeship is in both mechanical and electrical engineering. I've been with the company now for 4 years, and in that time I've discovered that my favourite Nestle product is the Milky Bar Smarties sharing bar.
Not sure how much it would get shared in my house. Okay, I think what would be really great is to hear the background of what got you interested in the world of technical and production.
So when I was in high school, in third year of high school, I was doing three sciences, biology, chemistry, physics, and my teacher recognized like I've had like a really strong passion for science, and what I really liked about it and my learning style was that I tried to put the theories into like real life situations to understand them, and I think she recognized that as like a good skill to have, and I think that's where my love for science stem from, being able to see it on a practical side.
I've always been really interested in problem solving, in maths, since a very young age, where teachers could recognise the skills that I had were based around maths and science, and were able to push me to do extracurricular things to really enrich my knowledge and also give me things that I could talk about when it came to interviews. So I was very fortunate to have that support right from the beginning, really.
How important is it to independently do your research around the opportunities out there?
I mean, we live in a time now where information is so freely available to anyone who wants to look for it, and I think if you have that option available to be able to research different companies, different programs, a lot more people would realise what's out there and the true extent of opportunities that they have at their fingertips. And the more I looked into it, the more I realised that engineering was almost the perfect fit for me. It included everything that I enjoyed and gave me enough challenges to be able to push myself more and more each day.
I think you are right. It's really important as a young person to be proactive with your understanding of what is out there for you because there are so many career opportunities and pathways nowadays. I mean, at Nestlé alone, we have 29 apprenticeships with 25 different training providers. So you can really pursue your interests and build your knowledge around that. And I think that's really important. So, Zara, what came next for you after college?
So I actually studied biomedical sciences at uni, so nothing to do with manufacturing. So I loved learning about the theories, but I found it a bit difficult. It was actually only my fourth year where I was hands-on in the labs, but even that was like solo, and you don't see results straight away. You're doing like a lot of research work. And when I graduated, I had no idea what I wanted to do, what kind of job I wanted to go into. So I was doing waitressing for about 9 months, and then I decided, right, I need to start thinking about graduate jobs and future. And I signed up to this website called Prospects. They send you job adverts based on a personality test that you'll do. So I did this personality test, and then I was getting job adverts through, and I saw the one for the manufacturing graduate scheme. And I was like, oh wow, like why didn't I have a look at this? Like see what the job actually entails. And I was reading the job description on the Academy website, and it sounded so good, just like hands-on. What I love is being like out on the shop floor with the teams, actually working with the engineers and like encouraging operators and everyone to enable results and like boost factory production. And I think that's what I love about manufacturing so much is I've got the practical side of being out on the shop floor with everyone, with the teams, and then also being able to sit and think about how to make production better. So just tying everything that I love together.
I think it's really important to go into a job role that you're going to enjoy. I mean, ultimately, you could be doing that job role for the rest of your life. You don't want to have that feeling where you wake up in the morning and don't want to go into work. Like I get excited to know that I'm going to be doing something really interesting, something that is going to challenge me and my skills and teach me something new as well.
Jess, you once gave me some great advice that had been passed down to you as an apprentice. If you ask a question every day, you're learning something new every day. Do you still ask lots of questions in your 4th year?
Oh, absolutely, I do. I make sure that I'm always asking questions because not only does it show your interest to the people that you're working with, encourages them to be more willing to share with you their knowledge, but it's also it's that curiosity thing, isn't it? You never know unless you ask, and I don't believe there's such things as daft questions. If you want to know something that you don't know, then you need to ask it. Otherwise, you're not going to know, are you? And whether that's you asking someone that you're working with, someone with a lot of knowledge, or you're even just asking the computer like what's this? What does that do? What's this meant to do? And you're always learning then, and it's great to be able to, because one day you'll look back and you'll realize, like I do this quite often now. I look back over from when I started my apprenticeship and I think, wow, I had no idea what any of that was when I first started, but now I could go out and fix that machine because I know X, Y, and Z. And it's brilliant to be able to have that feeling of knowing that you've progressed so much.
I absolutely loved that advice that you gave me, and it really helped me to understand that when I'm asking questions, not to feel ashamed because it's my own development and progression. And when you've got a team that supports you and encourages you, it's amazing, like you said, looking back and seeing how far you've come. So moving on then, we understand that in a factory it is male dominated. So how does it feel to be a female in a factory?
So when I joined, the first factory I went to in Tutbury was 80% male to 20% female. So in my first week, I was like, wow, it's actually quite a difference, men to women. But the culture at Nestle is so inclusive. Just like everyone's opinion is respected within the company. And I think that just drives into Nestle's like core values of allowing everyone to feel part of the team. So to be honest, I haven't felt any challenges being a woman within Nestle.
Every person in themselves, regardless of gender, is different. So it's great to have, and I'm very fortunate to be able to work in a team that has such diverse characters and such diverse approach to things.
Jess, aren't you also an ambassador for the Women in Engineering Committee?
That's been a really good tool for me starting my apprenticeship. I was fortunate enough to join the company just as it was the ball was starting to roll with that. So I've had quite a lot of involvement in its development, and through that I've made a lot of contacts, not just at my site in York, but at other sites across the country. And I've also been fortunate to be involved in webinars involving international links. So there's a great deal going on all the time. It's been great to be able to work with other female engineers, especially in the department I'm in at the moment. I've been working very closely with Emily, who's a day technician there, hearing about her journey into engineering, into the department, and her skills that she's got now based from where she started. I think it's brilliant to see so much progression from people who have been in an engineering role, especially women going into higher roles within the company. It really does inspire me because I look forward to seeing myself in that position and being able to have the knowledge that she has.
So in my graduate cohort, it's 75% of us that were employed were girls. So we had 3 girls compared to one guy that was employed. And I think that just goes to show that more and more women are coming into technical and production, and opinions that individuals might have are actually starting to change, which I think is really positive. So our factory manager at Fodden is actually a woman, and I find it really inspiring and like empowering for me coming in on the graduate scheme to see these women in these roles and them absolutely loving it and just being respected as well, I think is really important.
It's so lovely to know that you've got role models because you will become that role model for someone else entering the factory. But what I think is really important is if we ask a question around progression, what can we do more to support females in the factory?
I think there are still, in some areas, some steps that need to be taken in order to create um, a more balanced workplace almost. Women maybe not being asked to do a job because it might involve more physical strength. But I'm very lucky that I've been trained very well to use tools to my advantage and train things such as lifting and moving and manual handling, so that I can be as big a part of the team as anybody else, regardless of the fact that I'm a woman. The more that people see that these opportunities are available and that it can be very easy for us to have that level playing field. I think the workplace, not just in the industry, but like, you know, so looking in on it from a wider aspect, I think it'll become a lot more appealing to young women who want to start their career in the industry.
So, I have a statement and I'd just like to hear your thoughts on it. As women, we don't ask enough of ourselves. What do you think?
In some aspects, it can be true, and you know, it's a lot of people do doubt their own ability. It's not as big a barrier as you might lead yourself to believe. I mean, I know that I had a lot of doubt when I first started because I didn't have any engineering experience, so I kind of had to learn everything from scratch. And I was fortunate to have really good people guiding me. But you do have moments where you don't realise that you could actually do something. And I think it's really important. That's where things like the Women in Engineering Network is great, to be able to encourage people to push themselves that little bit further, because once you start realizing that you can do more than you think, and once you cross that first barrier, the rest of them, they just fall down quicker and quicker, because you know that you can do it and that you're capable of a lot more.
I think it can be really challenging to take a step back and understand the value that you add to that team dynamic. So, what role do you play? So, I'm going to put you both on the spot a little bit, but I'd really like to know what strengths you believe you add to your team.
I think that the team would probably say that I am very patient, that I can retain information well, and I listen well to the problem, and kind of, I'm one of those people that kind of processes information in my head first and then discusses it. So I think my ability to take information in, retain it, and then communicate it with other people is, well, something that I've been praised on within the team, and that has really helped me in my day-to-day role. I think as well as that, I'm quite calm and level-headed, so that usually helps in quite stressful situations.
So I think I'm quite lively person. I don't know if you guys can tell from
Definitely.
and I love having a laugh. I've noticed is positive for the whole team, and I think that ties in with the fact that it's really important to have different backgrounds, different personalities, and different values coming into one team, because that'll make that team so much stronger. So I personally feel like I've brought maybe, I don't know.
Energy, enthusiasm, passion, determination.
Yeah, I try to be as positive as I can in the workplace, because I feel when you're positive, other people around you will be more positive as well. So
Definitely, and I think we should never underestimate the strength of positivity and resilience, because ultimately an atmosphere is contagious. If someone's feeling down, it's likely to pass on to other team members. So you need someone to keep that momentum going and keep people focusing on the job and the end result. That's going to be a really proud moment when you collaborate together to bring out people's strengths.
And in terms of my confidence as well, when I first started my apprenticeship, you know, I'd get nervous if someone asked me to go and pick out a part from stores, because I'd think, well, what if I get it wrong? I don't know a great deal about this. Whereas now I'm going off on my own to you know, diagnose a problem on a machine, and then I'll be going off and helping somebody on a major breakdown, and actually playing an important role in that. So when I look back on what I have achieved, it really is remarkable.
And how important is communication within a factory?
Starting your apprenticeship, you're going into the world of work. You need to learn how to communicate with people, how to, you know, work well within a team, potentially work with people that you don't get on with. I mean, there really is such thing as creative differences, so you will always have people that you might clash with every now and then in terms of your ideas, but it's really important to develop those professional skills and be able to represent yourself and the company well.
Definitely, I really agree with that, and that just ties in with, I think, the culture at Nestle as well, is like just being able to be yourself.
I think there's a level of emotional intelligence there as well, in that we want everyone to be themselves, but you've also got to be respectful of other people and maybe adapt your communication style to fit with others. But that doesn't mean that you change your values or what you believe in, but it's just that you're accepting of other people's as well. From working with graduates and apprentices from all different backgrounds and upbringings, it's really helped challenge me in how I think and what I'm doing, what I'm saying, and making sure that it's inclusive of everybody's views and opinions so that we can really start to work collaboratively to bring out the best in each other. And I think that's something that Nestle has really helped me focus on and has improved the way that I work. So we talked about a few different strengths and qualities, but I'd really like to know what a memorable moment has been for you.
So I've been mental health first aider for 10 years, and I actually joined the scheme 2 years ago, but it was only when I started the scheme that I actually started using my skills as a mental health first aider. And something that I'm working really closely with in the factory is trying to reduce any potential stigma around mental health, building awareness, and trying to build an understanding about how it's okay not to be okay, because I think that's so important as well between the caring side and the driving for results. That's when you'll actually get the best results from your teams. And another thing that I've noticed is that the teams have like really come together, even though we've got these different bubbles, and it's just so encouraging and nice.
I think for me, it's not a particularly big or impressive moment, but I think my most standout moment is one I reflect on quite a lot. Is a certain job that I did in replacing a motor on quite a big piece of machinery. It was slightly difficult to access, so it involved a lot of teamwork in order to lift it out. And I remember I was working with 3 other people on this job, and it was probably the first moment where I really felt part of the team rather than just being, somebody who was observing to learn. It was possibly the first time that I really put my knowledge into play, to be able to help out and not have to have someone guide me and hold my hand through it. I was able just to start with the job, and was successful in it in quite a short period of time, a lot quicker than we expected it to be. And it was a really nice feeling when I think about it quite a lot, because for me that was a real moment where I thought, well, actually, this is what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to be working with people and solving problems. And it's because I think quite often about, I've said how little knowledge I had at the start of the apprenticeship and how I managed to get myself to that moment. So even in times where I'm struggling, I might be looking at a problem and just not knowing what it is that needs fixing. All I can do now is keep progressing. And I know that it's possible, because you've just got to realise that, put your thinking cap on and think, well, what's the first step I can do? Whether it's more research, whether it's finding somebody else to work with. The top and bottom of it is you're going to come out of that problem with more knowledge than you went into it with. So sometimes things not going right the first time is the most beneficial way for it to happen, because you end up learning something you didn't know before.
It's so insightful to hear it from you, because I do think it takes a lot of people to understand that mistakes aren't failures, they are learning opportunities. No mistake is permanent, it's temporary, but we add the permanence ourselves by overthinking the situation and not allowing us to move forward from it, because we're just stuck in that mindset that we've done something wrong, instead of going, okay, what didn't work? What can I do now? What will I improve next time? And that's how you move forward, and that's how you progress. So many times when I was younger, I just sit with a problem and not know how to overcome it. So that's something I wish I'd known growing up. So what advice would you give to your younger self?
Out of everything, I would tell myself just to take every opportunity that I can. There are countless opportunities to develop skills, be it personal skills, professional skills. But like we touched on before as well, I'd tell myself to go out and look for them. You know, nobody's going to hand you everything you want on a plate. Everyone's got to work for something, and if it's something that you're really, really passionate about, that research won't be a chore. It'll be what you want to do because you want to progress yourself. So for me, giving advice to my younger self, I would just say find what makes you happy and pursue every opportunity that you can to get yourself to where you want to be.
Thank you so much, Jess and Zara. It has been incredibly insightful to hear from your experiences. I feel like we have only just touched the surface. I am so curious to find out more about the world of technical and production. So I have a feeling that we will produce a part 2 to this episode. So if anyone does have any questions that they would like answering, please leave them in the comments and we will make sure to get back to them. It is so important that we continue to encourage young people to not feel limited with the opportunities out there. So I really hope this podcast series will help your understanding so that you can make a career decision that feels right for you. So again, thank you so much, Jess and Zara. Thank you guys for listening, and make sure not to miss our next episode.